Right now, the seas are quiet, the skies are empty, and our roads less traveled. But it's only a matter of time before the world starts moving again. And when it does, there is one source to count on for all your travel needs. We are Expedia Cruises, and we are more than just cruise vacations. Whether it's custom vacation packages, tours, all-inclusive resorts, or flights, hotels, and activities, we are here to plan, book, and safeguard every leg of your journey. Visit ExpediaCruises.com and we will help you secure your travel by phone, online, or at an Expedia Cruises location in your neighborhood, where you can get the advice you seek, no matter what your dream vacation might be, air, land, or sea. Expedia Cruises, air, land, and sea vacations.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Expedia Cruises Explore Canada event. My name is Josie Rubino, and I manage all of the land vacation product for Expedia Cruises North America. First off, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time out of your day to be here with us for this wonderful event. We have 3 fantastic suppliers joining us to talk about some of the products that they offer right in your backyard. But before I introduce them, I'm quickly going to review some housekeeping tips with you, So first up, if you're having any sort of technical issues, please try logging out and logging back in again. Sometimes it's just a small technical glitch, so by logging out, logging in, it fixes it. Also with the videos, we will be playing some videos throughout the presentations. If it's a little bit glitchy at the beginning, just hang tight. It normally straightens itself out. But if for some reason it does not, don't worry about it. Just hang tight and you'll be able to see the presentation again once the video is over. The second thing, if you want to adjust your view, so to see more of the presenter or the presentation, you can do that by selecting the view icon at the top. Now, if you are on a browser, you may not have this option, all right? Now, number 3, we're not going to be taking live questions today, all right? There's 3 really great presenters here, so we don't want to confuse things. If you have questions, what I'm going to ask you to do is please reach out to your Expedia Cruises vacation consultant, and they would be more than happy to assist you with those questions. Now, if you do not have a vacation consultant yet, don't worry. You can go to the Expedia Cruises website, you can submit a question there, and someone will get back to you. And finally, today's event is being recorded. So if you have to drop off early for whatever reason, or if you have those technical issues and you can't seem to get it to straighten out, or if you just want to watch it again because it's going to be that good, just reach out to your vacation consultant and they'd be happy to share the recording with you. And hey, if you want, you can even share it with your friends. All right, everyone. So now, many of you may not be aware, but last year we shortened our name and we rebranded from Expedia Cruise Ship Centers to Expedia Cruises. And we added the tagline, air, land, and sea vacations. We strongly believe that this new brand really speaks to who we are. Full service travel agencies right in your local community that can service all of your vacation needs, however and whenever you need, however and whenever you'd like to book. So what's more, when you book with an Expedia Cruises location, not only do you get amazing Expedia prices and product, you're also going to experience the service of a local vacation consultant, all right? These are travelers in your community. They can very well be your next door neighbor, and they're going to provide you with advice you can trust and support before, during, and after your vacation. Which is, I think, a great transition to why we're all here today. And I'm going to laugh when I say that. I've been repeating this over and over, and I laugh at myself every time. So the reason we're here today is to provide you with information to help you find your inspiration for your next Canadian vacation. I swear I did not do that on purpose, but it just happened that way. So, whether it's scaling the Rockies or exploring the quaint towns of the Maritimes, our speakers today are going to inspire you to explore your own backyard. And for those of you that are in the United States, when you can and when those borders open, it will help you explore your neighbor's backyard. So, we have got a really exciting agenda prepared for you today. And so, with that, I think we should get started and show the first or the three presenters we have. So today we're going to be joined by Wolf Palnick from Trafalgar, Brad Ford from Insight Vacations, and then Chris David at Railbookers. So now it's time to bring out the first presenter. Thank you there, Priscilla. And I'd like to introduce you guys to Wolf from Trafalgar. Wolf, welcome.
Thank you very much, Josie, and good morning, good afternoon, and overall greetings to our Expedia Cruises guests and vacation consultants. I have a pleasure to welcome everybody on behalf of Trafalgar, and we are here to reconnect your joy and desire of travel to travel with confidence as we are reopening the world. As travel and public health experts would say, the travel will restart in concentric circles. Like a drop of water in this pool of water at Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia. So you have guessed well, I will be talking about the Maritimes. And the next slide, just to introduce myself in not a bigger picture, but just to explain that I've been a president of Trafalgar, Cost Saver, and Brandon Vacations, our brand since 2015. Avid traveler, have traveled around Canada a lot, and certainly huge passion for everything that makes Canada such a beautiful and unique country as it is. Next slide is really telling you about why is guided vacations the best way to travel, especially in the post-COVID world. Let's just think of the practical aspect of being up to date with all the travel rules and regulations in different jurisdictions. Let us do that. Let us ensure that along every step of the way, your travel, your well-being is ensured, that our vacations provide really smooth, enriching, and sustainable experiences. And by booking through your vacation consultant and Expedia Cruises, you can really book with confidence because all of the measures are in there and they're all in place. So it is really, really good to proceed that way. And now just a little video to kind of give you an idea of overall Trafalgar experience. Next slide, please. Really, our concept of touring differently and really giving a very enriching, very smooth experience in a sustainable manner all over the world with Trafalgar or Cost Saver or Brandon Vacations is what our brand is all about. Next. And your trip is really perfectly planned. What does that mean? That really means that you do not have to worry about anything. You travel with total ease because all of your must-sees, the iconic sites, they're all taken care of, they're included, and we have provided a privileged access to many of the sites, so you do not have to line up. You do really have the red carpet and special entry, and that really makes your experience not only smooth, but with the help of our local specialists, our travel directors, our well-being directors, you know that there is somebody who's paying attention to every little detail. Then we ensure that you meet with real, true local people. So we give you local access to the farms, to the businesses, to the wineries, to really places of interest where you can learn what is everyday life in that destination all about. And we also want to be very cognizant of our footprint in the destination, sustainability, giving back to the community where we take you, our guest, and engaging every facet of their local society in sharing in the wealth provided by travel and tourism is very important and very near and dear to our heart. The next slide. And certainly in Canada, we do have a pretty big program. Today, I have a privilege of talking about our most popular tour sold in Canada and extremely successful in terms of sales from the United States and visits from the United States. It is rightly called the Enchanting Canadian Maritimes, and it does visit provinces of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and New Brunswick. And it really is interesting because this part of the country, and speaking of concentric circles, is really very, very unique, very different from the Rockies or Ontario or central Canada. It does have its aura of mystery. It starts in Halifax, and Halifax is a true mysterious city. There's been a huge explosion there once upon a time. The survivors from the Titanic were brought to Halifax, and those who have perished are buried in one of the sections of Halifax Cemetery. There's the Citadel. So the city is really full of almost Alfred Hitchcock-esque type of mysteries that we are solving little by little with you. From there, we go to what is practically a replica of Ireland, Cape Breton Island, beautiful landscapes, strong Irish tradition. So we do have a ceilidh when we go to Bedeck, where we stay for 2 nights, while at Cape Breton. And we really appreciate not only the foods, not only the music, but also the friendship and the openness of Atlantic Canadians, Maritimers. They're probably the most open and the most engaging Canadians you will meet anywhere in Canada. From there, we go by ferry to Prince Edward Island. That is the smallest of Canadian provinces, one of the first to join the Confederation. And we explore the beautiful island with its story of Anne of Green Gables, with its very rich and textured maritime history. It is also a home to the famous McCain Canadian potatoes used by McDonald's. It is also a place where we do our Make Travel Matter event, which is very important part of our program, is that we try to engage in local communities with suppliers who are true, authentic locals, and we help them preserve certain traditions, certain businesses for the next generations. So that place in Prince Edward Island on a Trafalgar guided vacation is Shaw Inn. 4 generations of Shaws have been tending this in this place, and that's where we learn about the unique history of the place, share a lunch with one of the Shaw family members, and learn about Prince Edward Island and everyday life, which is quite interesting and very unique. And then from Prince Edward Island, we cross the Confederation Bridge, which is the longest bridge, or one of the longest in the world, certainly the longest in Canada, across Northumberland Straits. And then we go into New Brunswick, another one of the Confederate provinces in terms of founding the Confederation that eventually became the country of Canada, and also a place where the best lobsters and the best seafood is to be found. So we certainly have a lobster experience when we are in New Brunswick. So we can go to the next slide, where I just wanted to show a little bit of the landscape and a little bit of the traditional and kind of unique color scheme and palette of Atlantic Canada. Very unique and very different. Not so far from home, whether the home is in the United States or in Canada, but still not as discovered as one would hope it would be. So that would be a very brief description, because of the time limitations we have, to give you a smell of salty air, to give you the idea of beautiful lobsters, of fantastic oysters from Brador, of scallops from Digby, but also of the wine grown locally in Atlantic Canada. So we do have quite a few surprises in this part of the country. The next slide. Although we have no time to discuss the other absolutely enchanting piece of Atlantic Canada, which is Newfoundland and Labrador, I would just like briefly to draw your attention to the opportunity to, if you have been to the other provinces I've mentioned, but you haven't been to Newfoundland, certainly an unbelievable place to visit. And when it is reopened, we also have the Ile of Saint-Pierre, which is French territory. So just a little ferry ride to the European Union and to France, and you can spend your euros and enjoy some beautiful French wine, among many other things. The next one, please. As I mentioned, post-COVID travel, we certainly are part of the Safe Travels movement, underwritten by the World Travel and Tourism Council, observing all of the World Health Organization protocols. So rest assured, everything's taken care of. And we have a well-being director, in addition to travel director, who takes care of all of those details. Next one, please. Very easy to book. Talk to your Expedia Cruises vacation consultant. We really communicate with you. We communicate with your vacation consultant. We are a company that's been around for 72 years, Trafalgar, 101 years, the Travel Corporation. We have very flexible deposits. You can change your mind depending on the situation in a very flexible manner. So there is really no reason to hold back. Next one, please. Very close to our heart, and we can already move to the next one, is our sustainability practice. We have joined Trafalgar Foundation, part of the Tread Right Foundation, and we're caring for the planet, places and wildlife, and for helping local people. Next one, please. And these are all of the booking incentives where you can really save by booking early, making sure when the travel starts, you have secured your place with confidence under flexible conditions, and you really are planning ahead to enlarge that concentric circle of your reconnection with the joy of travel. And the final slide, I would really like to thank you very, very much for being a part of this event. And I would like to thank our friends at Expedia Cruises for inviting us and allowing us to share a little bit of Trafalgar with you. Thank you, Josie.
Thank you. Well, that was absolutely fantastic. You had me at wine. I actually had no idea. I'm a Canadian, and I had no idea that there was a wine region in the Maritimes. So that is added to my bucket list for sure. All right, everyone. So we just were on the East Coast. Now we're going to move all the way to the West Coast here in the Rocky Mountains. So if you guys can please welcome Brad from Luxury Gold, who is going to talk a little bit about the Rockies on the West Coast. Hello, Brad.
Hello. Thank you so much, Josie, and hello to our audience across Canada and the USA. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. As Josie has said, my name is Brad Ford, and it's my distinct pleasure to lead Luxury Gold here in Canada. I'm eager to show you how Luxury Gold is bringing back the golden era of travel through our extraordinary experiences and service, and spotlight our very special, majestic Rockies journey. I'd like to invite you to imagine yourself on a Luxury Gold small group adventure of a lifetime in the next short video playing on the slide to come. I'm so ready to travel right now. I'm not sure about you. Tailored, exceptional, luxurious, inspired and founded by our chairman, Mr. Stanley Tolman. The Luxury Gold Worldwide Collection is masterfully woven from our extensive travel expertise that delights with unique VIP experiences, superb service at the leading magnificent hotels, exclusive access to remarkable encounters, and acclaimed exceptional award-winning dining. On the next slide, you'll see that our Luxury Gold teams balance these rich journey inclusions with the free time to personalize your journey in the moment with the skill, knowledge, relationships, and connections of your traveling concierge who travels with you 24/7, and your well-being director, as Wolf has pointed out, sister company, who takes a proactive approach to your welfare. Your well-being is certainly our priority. On the next slide, you'll see that our well-being protocols were developed, as Wolf has also said, in cooperation with the World Travel and Tourism Council, as well as the World Health Organization. And they represent the highest level of consideration for your concern. With you from day one, the traveling concierge and well-being director and our driver take a proactive approach to your welfare and dedicate their attention to the smallest details, the latest hygiene and physical distancing protocols throughout the journey, as well as handling simple things such as luggage, sanitizing the handles every day and making sure that they appear seamlessly in your room without you even noticing that they were gone. The well-being director and driver will provide personal support with all of the details to make sure that you feel confident and comfortable in destination. In addition to this incredible team on the ground with you, we have a proactive team at your service and at your side with our entire Luxury Gold 24/7 global incident response team, should there be any need. On the next slide, you'll see exactly what we're talking about today, and that is our indulgence in Eastern Canada. We'll chat a little bit about the Canadian trips, and our 8-day indulgence of Eastern Canada is rich in European culture, striking natural beauty, and spectacular multicultural cities. Travelers are delighted by the sweeping skylines of Toronto to the thundering thrills of Niagara Falls, and you'll be equally inspired by both the natural elements and urban cosmopolitan energy of this most impressive part of the world. You'll stay at the best hotels, of course, including our local castles, the Fairmont Chateau Laurier in Ottawa and the Fairmont Le Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City, and you'll be treated to the very best dining establishments and cuisine of the region. On the next slide, we're going to spend a bit more attention speaking about the majesty of the Rockies. On the Canadian West Coast, we take in the majesty of the Rocky Mountains in a 14-day extravaganza of dazzling natural wonders and local flavor of British Columbia and Alberta as we travel in luxurious comfort to the most spectacular national parks, glaciers, and historic villages of Western Canada. We savor delicious local cuisine and trendy multicultural Vancouver, and meet passionate local experts as we discover Mother Nature's delights from the towering Rockies to the pristine waters of Alaska on our optional Holland America cruise. On the next slide, you'll see a picture of one of my very favorite hotels in the world, and it's called the Douglas. On arrival at the Vancouver International Airport, you'll be met and transferred to your hotel. At 6 o'clock in the evening, you'll join your traveling concierge for a welcome dinner with wine at the spectacular patio restaurant at the Parc Le Victor, one of my favorite restaurants in Vancouver. We start out our journey staying in one of the most spectacular hotels, of course, in North America, the Douglas. Part of the distinguished autograph collection, this delightful hotel pays homage to the original Douglas firs that laid the foundation for Vancouver's thriving economy. The Douglas Boutique Luxury Hotel has been built to LEED Gold standards and is an impressive blend of exquisite form and function. I love this picture because the picture is of the hotel lobby and the striking reception desk, which is an artful installation incorporating a real Douglas fir tree. Just past the reception and into the library lounge, our guests will have the opportunity to explore the brilliant book collection of local authors and storytellers. And really, this is the interesting thing. They'll see if they can crack the code to open up the library walls to our hidden secret hotel speakeasy bar. It's an absolute delight. I've had to try it for myself, I will say, more than once, and just one of the many special experiences found within the hotel walls and surrounding neighborhood. On the next slide, We'll talk about the fantastic journey as we start off with a day tour, exploration of the sights of Vancouver, and we travel on day 3 in glorious style to the Sun Peaks, to Kamloops, or you take an optional Rocky Mountaineer Gold Leaf train journey, each bringing you to Jasper, where we stay at the iconic Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge on days 4 and 5. Here you'll not believe the natural beauty offered by Jasper National Park and the beautiful Lake Maline and Spirit Island, straight out of the scenes of your favorite postcards. Local guides take us on float trips and explorations of the best park locations and give you a sense of place and history within their enthralling storytelling. It's a magical part of Canada, one of my all-time favorites that just has to be experienced to be believed. On the next slide, we have day 6, where we travel along the unforgettable Icelands Parkway and witness the amazing scenery that's there. We take in remarkable excursions onto the surface of Athabasca Glacier, onto the frosty flow formed centuries ago, and later that day we'll arrive at the legendary Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise, where you'll enjoy a nature walk while strolling lakeside and have a choice of several restaurants at the resort. Surrounded by soaring mountains, the majestic Victoria Glacier, and the glistening Emerald Lake, the iconic Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise Hotel is really, truly very special and part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site Park, and so close to the extraordinary glacier lakes such as Peyto Lake, and it's just so beautiful, pictured here. On the next slide, it's a picture of Chateau Lake Louise, of course. It's an incredible, stunning setting. And I'll tell you, if you hike up the mountain, there's a beautiful tea house about halfway through with a beautiful view of the glacier, some of my favorite chocolate glacier cake, and honestly, the most satisfying teas in the world. On the next slide, we have Moraine Lake, and it's the Valley of the 10 Peaks, known for its reflective and bright blue glacial waters, as one of the highlights of day 7. Of course, we wander through Banff National Park, and it's an incredible VIP experience to meet a Royal Canadian Mounted Policeman and hear his or her fascinating tale of what it's like to wear the famous red serge uniform. On the next slide, we have the Banff Springs Hotel, perhaps one of the most iconic chateaus in all of Canada, and it's our resting place for day 7 and 8 of our journey. We explore all through the park, and of course, you have the opportunity to relax with a 9-hole golf game, or as well as the gondola ride up to the mountains within Banff. You have the choice of helicopter rides. You have all sorts of other things that you can choose from. It's truly an exceptional experience. On the next slide, as you leave Banff on the morning of day 9, we stop at the exquisite Emerald Lake. It's really just so beautiful. I'm not a National Geographic photographer. I've taken many photos here, but every single one of my photos turn out like a professional. And that evening, we'll visit the family-owned estate, Winery Quailsgate, for a delicious wine pairing dinner and fantastic, incredible experience with the stunning views over the vineyard of Okanagan Lake. And we rest our heads at the Grand Okanagan Resort in Kelowna. On the next slide, I just want to talk very quickly about an experience that we include, and it's one of our Chairman's Collections experiences. We have the thrilling opportunity as we get to Whistler to speak to an actual Olympian. In fact, Rob Boyd was an Olympian in the 1988 Winter Olympics and currently coaches the world famous Whistler mountain ski team. In 1989, of course, he was the first Canadian alpine skier to win a downhill on home soil. So we love Rob, and we give you an opportunity to have a reception with him and learn all about his incredible story. On the next slide, of course, it's our journey back home. We take you back to Vancouver, and you have the most incredible opportunity to relax and enjoy Vancouver in style as we say goodbye. We want to say to you that now's the time to book. We're seeing now that the dreaming stage has turned into the booking stage. We offer you incredible value and opportunity with our confidence booking, peace of mind promises, our well-being promises, our no-risk deposits and flexibility promise. And on the next slide, I'd just like to say, thank you so much for your time, and please do speak to your Expedia Cruises consultant, who'd be more than happy to speak to you about this phenomenal journey.
All right, thank you so much, Brad. Now, I have done a similar trip to this before, but I am now dreaming and starting to plan to do this again. That looked absolutely fantastic. I need to get out of my apartment. I don't know.
It's the iconic Canadian road trip, isn't it? And
It is.
you have to do it at least
beautiful.
once.
And you know what? Being from Vancouver, I have actually stayed at the Douglas a few times, and it's down the street basically from my house. But I have stayed there, and that big Douglas spur in the lobby is fantastic. It's actually one of my favorite hotels too.
Did you discover the speakeasy though? I want to know.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Now I learned something new. All right. Thank you so much, Brad.
Thanks.
We're going to bring you back in a couple minutes here. But first, I'd like to bring Chris from Rail Bookers. Chris is now going to basically take us all across the country, and he's going to talk a little bit about rail across Canada. So Chris, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Josie. Thank you so much for having me. And really pleased to be able to take you through the next part of the presentation this morning. Just to introduce myself very quickly, everybody, my role is as Vice President of Sales for Rail Bookers here in Canada. And we, as you may know, are a train specialist operator. And we've heard a lot about different parts of Canada. We've heard about the Maritimes and the Canadian Rockies. And hopefully what I'll be able to do is join those two together and give you a sense of exploring Canada in its entirety on a rail vacation. Once again, next slide, please, Priscilla. So just a quick introduction to our company. We are called the Yankee Leisure Group, and we have two brands, Amtrak Vacations and Rail Bookers. In the US, we're the official vacation partner for Amtrak. So we operate all of the vacation packages into the US national parks and other highlight destinations throughout the lower 48 US states. And then we have our Rail Bookers brand, which covers destinations worldwide with rail vacation packages and itineraries here in Canada with the Trans-Canadian programs, as well as the Canadian Rockies and Eastern Canada. We also have packages in Alaska, in Europe, and on luxury and specialty trains worldwide. Next slide, please. So just to give you a broad sense of everywhere we operate at Rail Bookers, again, these are independent rail vacations, allowing you to explore these destinations using train as your means of transportation and discovering all the attractions and the highlights independently as you explore the destination. In Alaska, we have packages ranging from 4 to 14 days. In Canada, again, Trans-Canadian, Eastern Canada, and the Rockies. Throughout Europe, we have rail vacations from Portugal to Poland, including Scandinavia and Russia as well. And then there are those luxury and specialty train experiences around the world, whether it be exploring Japan on the bullet trains, or the Blue Train in South Africa, the GAN in the Indian Pacific in Australia, the Golden Eagle Trans-Siberian going through Russia. Next slide, please, Priscilla. Rail Bookers. So our name would suggest that we book rail, and that is just a part of what we're all about. Again, we are a rail specialist company, so we have access to rail segments, and we can put together tailor-made train travel itineraries and destinations worldwide. That's our unique area of expertise, but also we take care of all of the other components of independent travel. So you can work with your Expedia Cruises vacation consultant to piece together a trip that exactly meets your specifications, with hotels ranging between 3, 4, and 5-star on every night of your trip, all the sightseeing experiences and excursions you would want, local transportation, ferries, transfers from airports to city centers, and indeed all these aspects of independent travel. Next slide, please. So now it's time to go across Canada by train. So experiencing Canada on a rail vacation is really the best way to get a feel for the vastness and the diversity of our great country. Traveling by train, you're going at eye level, passing through the different landscapes on the country. We at Rail Bookers have various different itineraries for going across the country, whether you're doing coast to coast, Toronto to Vancouver. This can be done as a straight shot with no breaks. It's a 4-day, 4-night journey between Toronto and Vancouver. You're going from the Great Lakes through the prairies, the Canadian Rockies, and all the way over to the West Coast, seeing all that scenery as it changes en route. Next slide, please. So if you do this trip as a straight shot, our package would include hotel accommodation and sightseeing experiences in both Toronto and Vancouver, the bookend cities for the Canadian train, the iconic Via Rail train that connects the country. With our company, everything can be customized. So depending on where you're starting your trip and which destination you want to explore in greater depth, you can add or remove nights and experiences in either of those cities. Next slide, please. The iconic train that travels across the country is Via Rail's Canadian. It's a 4-day, 4-night odyssey connecting Toronto and Vancouver, an overnight rail adventure known and celebrated worldwide. Now, aside from the comfortable private sleeping accommodation that the train has, it also features a panorama car with glass domed panoramic windows to showcase the main attraction, which is that incredible scenery as you pass through some of Canada's most scenic areas. There's also a dining car where the excellent included meals are served and various environments on board where you can relax and enjoy the journey. Next slide. Here we see the sleeper accommodation on board Via Rail. This is their Sleeper Plus class on the Canadian train. And as you can see, it's a cabin for two with 2 comfortable lounge chairs by day that convert into full lie flat bunk beds at night. So an incredibly comfortable way to explore Canada, and overnight rail travel is a great adventure in and of itself. Next slide, please. You can also upgrade this experience to Via Rail's Prestige category, which is a luxury 5-class train travel experience similar to those luxury trains that you may have heard of around the world, where you have a full queen-size bed in your compartment, that massive panoramic window, large screen TV, beautifully appointed washroom with shower, as well as concierge service throughout the journey. Next slide, please. Many people, when taking the Trans-Canadian Rail journey, will include an interlude en route in the Canadian Rockies. We offer several itineraries with 3, 4, or 5 nights between Jasper, Banff, and Lake Louise to take in the highlights of the Canadian Rockies. Your package will also include 2 nights each in Toronto and Vancouver, with a Niagara Falls excursion and city sightseeing for the full Canadian experience. And let's move on to the next slide. As the route of the Canadian train goes through Jasper, a 3-night stay there provides the opportunity to explore the highlights of Jasper National Park, the largest national park in the Canadian Rockies, with an included excursion through the park to see the turquoise glacier-fed lakes, waterfalls, and breathtaking views. There's also an excursion on the Icefields Parkway to Banff, a guided tour along the world's most scenic highway, with a visit to the Columbia Icefield with its incredible glacier skywalk. And in Banff, why not upgrade your hotel accommodation to the iconic Fairmont Banff Springs to add a little bit of extra luxury to the experience? Heaven knows we all deserve it after 2 years of confinement. Let's move on to the next one. And we've talked about the Canadian train, which connects Vancouver and Toronto. Why not do the ultimate Canada coast to coast, traveling all the way from Halifax to Vancouver? The train that goes between Montreal and Halifax is called the Ocean. Also a wonderful way to experience maritime Canada, passing through beautiful scenery. Next slide, please. And this is a way to really take in all of Canada's diverse highlights. We are so fortunate here in Canada to have in our own backyard some of the world's greatest city sightseeing destinations, sites and attractions, scenic areas to explore. So many great reasons to explore the many wonders of our own backyard. While this year, perhaps in 2021, restrictions are in place preventing us from traveling further afield. Next slide, please. We at Rail Bookers have introduced a maximum flexibility offer to enable you to book for travel, perhaps in 2022, later this year, with peace of mind. Many people are concerned what their options are in the event of having to reschedule or cancel their trip, given what we've all been through with COVID. Our policy allows you to cancel 5 days prior to your departure, receiving a 2-year future travel credit with total flexibility to transfer any funds on file towards your booking towards anything else, to split your credit over multiple new bookings, or even transfer it to another person if you decide that you no longer wish to or are not able to travel within the 2 years. Next slide, please. We have just recently launched 3 new fantastic e-brochures for rail bookers. In addition to our main catalog, which documents all of the independent rail vacations worldwide, we have specialized brochures this year for luxury travel and for cruise extensions. So luxury trains like the Orient Express, the Golden Eagle Trans-Siberian, and extension packages connecting with the river and ocean ports throughout Europe on the Danube, the Rhine, the Mediterranean, and the Baltic. That brings me to the end of my presentation. If you just advance to the next slide. So once again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today, for listening, and look forward to chatting a little bit more interactively in the Q&A in a few moments. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Chris, thank you so much. I'm not going to lie to you. Priscilla and I were slacking each other. We're sending each other instant messages saying, oh my goodness, we want to do that, the sleeper, the overnight, the prestige class. What was it called? Prestige class, I believe. Anyways, we want to book it, Chris. We want to go in that train, and we want to be staying in that room.
I'm sorry, Josie, my little 10-minute timer was like bleeping at me.
That's
so
okay. No
apologize.
worries.
I missed your question.
No problem. That's okay. You know what? I'm going to bring Brad and Wolf back on, and we're just going to have a quick little chat here. So I've actually put together a couple questions, 2 questions that I want to ask you guys. And I'm going to start with Wolf because we haven't chatted to Wolf for a little while now. But Wolf, I wanted to ask you if there was one thing or maybe 2 things that customers need to know before their tour, what would that be?
Under the circumstances, I think it is important to always check the website, our website, or the website of one of your Expedia Cruises locations where they may book through, because the situation changes, and even domestically we see how traveling between the provinces changes from day to day. That is related to post-COVID. The other thing, and I think the overarching thing, is other than getting in order what they need to bring in terms of their clothing, in terms of their technology, the books they want to read, everything else they need to bring is a positive attitude and the desire to reconnect either with the places they have visited or to discover new places, because I think this is the year to travel domestically, whether Atlantic Canada or the Rockies or the train across Canada. Many international visitors will not be coming. So it will be definitely an experience that will be more intimate. It will be a less visited or populous at the iconic points such as Peggy's Cove, for instance, in the Atlantic, or Chateau Lake Louise. So this may be the year, once things open, that would probably deliver the best experience.
I love that. The year to travel. The year to travel domestically and see our own backyard.
I believe
Brad,
so.
Brad, what do you think? How about if there was one thing customers need to know before their tour, what would you say?
I think it's to have the confidence that you have a network of people who are supporting you here. Our relationship, of course, is so important. Expedia Cruises and Luxury Gold have had an incredible relationship over many years. We work so well together. We're really such terrific partners, and we are taking care of all the details at every level. So before you even have to consider what's happening in the world with the changes and protocol shifts and new announcements, we've already been across it. And again, because we work so closely with the WTTC and the World Health Organization, and we have people on the ground across the globe in all of our destinations who are really taking care of you without you even being there yet, in anticipation of welcoming you. All of the detail and all the research has been done. And when it's time for you to land and have your journey, it will be a journey of a lifetime.
I love that. Just traveling with peace of mind and confidence. That's fantastic. And Chris, what do you think? If you had one thing that customers needed to know before their tour, what would you say?
Well, for me, Josie, it would be some practical tips actually regarding the rail journey. First off, no need to skimp when packing with Via Rail. You can take 2 large suitcases. You can check your bags prior to departure. Also, if you're booked in the sleeper accommodation on the Canadian train, you have access to the business lounge prior to departure and on arrival in Toronto and Vancouver. And the other thing would be special meals. We can cater to special meals. Just need to let us know 72 hours prior to departure, and we can do, vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, and all the ethnic meals. So those would be my, pre-travel tips.
No, those are great. And I would have never thought of that, right? Like who would have thought that you can bring 2 suitcases on the train? I'm sold.
Sure.
I'll have all the stuff I need.
Rail travel goes back to the days when people traveled with like 10 trunks, right? So,
you know what? My dad traveled when he came from Italy. He traveled by train to Vancouver. So he's told me all about it. It's been a while. So, you know what, Chris, I'm going to keep you on here. So really quickly, I want to ask you, what is your favorite tour or destination in Canada? If you had to pick one tour or one destination, what would it be?
For me, I have to actually take a leaf from Brad's book here. It would be the Canadian Rockies for sure. And Brad mentioned the hike to the tea house from Chateau Lake Louise. That is my all-time favorite outdoor experience that I've had in Canada, or maybe anywhere. Just so beautiful, and such a great way to get a personal connection with the Rocky Mountains. And for me, just personally, the great outdoors wins every time. And I think that very much resonates with the themes we're seeing in travel generally at the moment. People want to connect with nature, remote tourism, go to uncrowded outdoor national park destinations. And absolutely for me, Canadian Rockies is where I go in my mind when I want to escape confinement under COVID.
That's great. And Wolf, how about you? We'll jump over to Wolf because we again haven't heard from him for a little bit here.
Considering Rockies have been discussed already, I would say that Newfoundland would be my single most inspiring and intriguing destination in Canada, because not only do you have the dramatic landscapes, you have people who are absolutely unique, the best sense of humor in Canada, and you also have such a deep history that people kind of forget, because it starts with Vikings, or it actually doesn't start with Vikings. It starts with native people and different cultures that have been changing over the centuries. And Newfoundland became part of Canada not even that long ago, which is yet another thing that people do forget. So it does have different idiosyncrasies than the rest of the country. And the seafood is amazing, like anywhere in the Atlantic.
And the wine, you said too, which I
the wine is in New Brunswick, but in Newfoundland,
okay,
I don't think it would be possible to grow grapes. But yes, their liquor stores are pretty well supplied.
There you go.
And they have wonderful restaurants and so many talented local chefs. I absolutely recommend Newfoundland to everyone.
I love that. And how about you, Brad? Last but not least, what would be your favorite destination in Canada or tour?
Listen, Josie, I'm a good old Canadian boy. So really there hasn't been any place in Canada that I've visited that I haven't absolutely loved. I've sat in the middle of a Saskatchewan wheat field and just couldn't believe of the expansive, breadth of the plains there. And really from east to west, I don't think you can go wrong. I will have to say though, that going back to the majesty of the Rockies, it's all in the way that you do it. I think, there are times where you can do the, iconic kind of backpacking journey across Canada. And then there are times where, you can really have an elevated experience, an experience that becomes something that really does create memories to last a lifetime. And I do think that the majesty of the Rockies is probably the ultimate journey for me in traveling through those iconic destinations.
That's perfect. And you know what? I need to start saving my money because I've been writing down everything that you guys have been talking about. And even though I'm from Canada, I'm born and raised, there's so much I need to see. So I'm excited to get across this country and see everything. All right, everyone. For those of you that have stuck around, I know it's 50 minutes in, and so I want to thank you for that. So Brad, Wolf, and Chris, thank you all so much for being here. We truly appreciate the time that you've taken to be here with us today and giving us so much inspiration for our next vacation. So thank you so much, all three of you, for being here. I think I already said it, but I personally cannot wait to get out and explore this beautiful country once it is safe to do so. Today's presentation really did inspire me, and I hope that it inspired all of you as well. If you have any questions about any of the trips today, or if you're ready to plan and book that next vacation, please reach out to your Expedia Cruises vacation consultant, and I know they will be more than happy to assist you in getting that booking done. So with that, on behalf of our 300, that's right, 300 independently owned and locally operated Expedia Cruises locations, our truly amazing vacation consultant, and on behalf of everyone here at Expedia, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here with us today, for all of your support. It means a lot, and we truly appreciate you being here. So please stay safe, stay nice, because Canadians, we're nice, and we really do hope to see you out exploring soon. Thanks, everybody.